I think it's safe to say that 2017 is bringing with it a load of uncertainty. As is the case with any new president being elected, especially that of a different party, it's tough to know what the country is in for, let alone business and industry. I want to address a common question we often receive since Trump's election. And that is, how do you think his election affects the governance of OSHA? Do you see it loosening up since he ran as a very pro-business, pro-industry president? And therefore, do you see the loosening of citations and fines? I've actually got a lot to say about this. Now, based on our boots on the ground experience with many industries and businesses, there are a few important points I want to make. First off, we know the several new laws that have been put in place by OSHA will not likely be overturned. Those current time limits to do so have expired already. I'm talking about a number of laws that have recently been enacted, and if you watch my weekly videos, you too are well aware of the many rules and regulations I'm referring to. So, what about the fact that this new administration, and in particular the new Secretary of Labor, can choose what they focus on? That being more of an enforcement approach or an oversight approach. Now, assuming we have a very pro-industry administration, it's likely that we could see more of an oversight approach that focuses less on actively fining organizations and more on a general governance of industries. However, that being said, I think it's important we don't leave businesses hanging with the belief that OSHA won't find a way to get all up in their literal business. Here's what I want to caution companies on by reminding them of the many loopholes that OSHA themselves have constructed to gain access into your businesses without ever having to leave their own offices. Okay, number one, employee complaints. Working with over 200 monthly clients, our group of consultants sees the far majority of OSHA's involvement with our clients coming from disgruntled employees or employees who are leaving or who have been fired and then promptly call OSHA to throw their employer under the bus for safety protocol they may or may not be following. So let's look at what we know. OSHA has created some very robust whistleblower laws, and they actively pursue the many employee complaints they receive. In fact, they now have a separate division that screens for and handles these complaints. To believe this isn't going to continue would be foolish in my opinion. Active? Maybe not. Passively active? Absolutely. Number two, OSHA reportable injury laws. These new laws were put in motion in January of 2016, and this creates another passively active gap by which OSHA can get into employers' operations. None of us can know when a single hospitalization, minor amputation, or serious eye injury might occur. When they do, employers are the ones that must call OSHA. Again, the OSHA inspectors aren't even leaving their office at this point. Number three, OSHA consulting visits don't equal zero fines and certainly don't mean zero capital investments for your business. When either the Department of Labor or OSHA come in for a consulting visit, excluding some of their solid programs like Sharps because there's an entirely different process being followed there, you have a time limit to make the necessary changes. Even if there are no fines, you are now put on a clock to invest possible tens of thousands of dollars in new capital investments, such as new machinery, new guarding mechanisms, new engineered controls, you name it. The very real tangible costs are there and no longer on your time frame, but theirs. Number four, OSHA's new increased fine structure gives them 78% more wiggle room to appear as though they're doing the business a favor when a citation comes in at a lower than prescribed amount. Whereas the ceilings in the previous administration were much lower, this new ceiling has 78% more square footage to work in and appear to be reasonable based on what fines could have been. Okay, number five, and my final point, OSHA has set up a series of new laws that they are obligated to follow. They may not be actively seeking to fine organizations the way they were, but they still must abide by their own rules. They will never just turn a blind eye to an organization allowing employees to operate in a hazardous environment they know to be unsafe, and nor should they. So, for all of these many reasons, I believe the active OSHA we've seen for many years may appear to be different on the outside, but trust me when I say they will still be active, just passively so. I'm Jake Wolfenden with Summit Safety Group, and I may not know you, but I care about your business and your employees, and I only want the best for you. Feel free to share these videos with your colleagues if they may also find them helpful, and I will see you next week.